But I mean, it's not bad anyway for the salary that we're watching, that we're attending Market Monday, because I mean, more often than not, like, actually have salary. Learn that we're in real estate, they ask about interest rate, they ask about the market, right? What do we say? We give it back.
We're in, come on in. We're gonna roll. You got a lot going on there. Market Monday cancels and the meeting back on. Thank you, Jeffrey, for your flexibility.
Yeah, do what you can. Take care of it.
Okay, we're gonna get started really quick. We have this, we have that, then we have Dee Dee's class today, right? Finances coming right after this. Hey, let's talk about the market. So some of the new numbers. Come on, Wells working. Okay. So some of the revisions. Remember when this chart came out? There was a prediction from the prices where they were at, that there was going to be a decline, and we had forecasted, or there was a forecast for them to come down by 10%. That was the belief that what was going to happen. All right. That forecast has changed if you haven't been reading the news. What's happening right now in our area, they're forecasting in 12 months that our prices are going to be 5% higher. So from 10% down to 5% higher. And the reason why they're seeing that is what? When you take a look at this supply and demand thing that's going on, prices are going to stay high. Okay. These are the region and KWRI numbers for February. If you look again, those top 8 are what we call the language of real estate. All right. Month over month, down 25% nationally in our region, which is North and South Carolina, down 23%. Look at that. Close volume, 26.8, 22.10. Contracts written, again, down 25% nationally, 22%. So holding stable from where we've seen it. But again, units are going to be off in the next couple of months, right? And it's weird in that we do have demand, and you're going to see the supply issue that we're going to be having, right? All right, this is the Triad sold year to date. So again, we have 2 months sitting in here right now. And this data is for the entire MLS, which you can pull out of Market Trends Premium yourself. So if you have an MLS account, you go in there and set up your Market Trends Premium account. Okay, you'll be able to go and pull this data. This is the top quarter of a detailed sheet that you can get. And you can pull year to date, you can pull for Guilford County, you can pull for the city, you can pull for the other report that will show you townhouses versus condos versus homes versus land. Okay. But again, 20% down, sold dollar value, units sold 23.6. So about the same. We're down about 20%. It was trending a little bit higher than at about 30%, but it's come back down. You can also break it down by price strata. Let me make this smaller. Right. And if you take a look at that, right? I can get this out of the way. I'll mess this up. There we go. If you take a look at those price breakdowns, right? You can still see that the inventory is still pretty tight in a lot of those categories, right? 75 to 100,000. That's still under 2 months. Same thing for 100 to 125. Same thing for 125 to 150. Same thing from 150 to 200, right? 200 to 250, still under 2 month supply. 250 to 300. What is that? That's a 1 month supply. 397 versus 398 right there, right? With here, 300 to 350. 479 sold, 633. Again, they're all under 2 month supply of inventory. This works sometimes, it doesn't work other times.
So you're saying less than 2 months supply, but how do we see that? And I mean, a lot of them go through the room. How do we see that, that that's a 2 month supply?
When you say, how do we see that?
You're saying, okay, that's less than 2 months supply. I'm looking at there and I don't see anything that says 2 months supply.
So if you take the number of units that close or sell, okay? So, sold, right? Okay, and then you take a look at what is the inventory, the current inventory at the end of the month. Okay, it's an absorption rate. So let's say there's 1,000 houses on the market. So let's do the month supply for the entire MLS, right? Let's do the entire supply of what is here in the MLS. So, here you go,
Right?
right? So what's the total?
2,603,
Okay, how many on the market?
2,789.
All right, so you take 2789 markers and divide it by 2603, right? 2603 over 2789.
Okay,
What does that give you?
1.7.
Huh?
1.7. Average.
This over that.
1.07.
What is it?
1.07.
1.07. So what it says at the current absorption rate, 2,600 houses, 2,603 houses every single month. Over the current active inventory, and this is the inventory number at the end of February. This number continually changes, right?
Right.
Because what happens in the next couple of weeks, it just depends.
Right.
That gives you the month supply of inventory. Balance supply is what? 6 months. Anything under 6 is moves toward a seller's market. Anything over, buyer's market, right? So when we look at this and it's at 2, still a strong seller's market, right? Now, are sellers getting the prices that we saw a year ago?
No.
No. Why?
Interest rates.
Interest rates? And well, what else?
We do have more inventory than we did a year ago, do we not? No, we're not. Okay.
You'll see this number in a second. Prices are already high. When you have houses go up in double digits for the last 3 years, right? At some point, it's gotta stop. It's gotta stop. Right? Incomes do not, when you have prices of anything outpace usually the cost of living increase, it becomes a problem. Or it outpaces wages being increased. If you have houses going up 12, 15, 20%, right? And you don't have your income increasing at the same rate, people will just get priced out of the market at some point. You accompany that with what? Rising interest rates. And so you're gonna have some people that get rate locked. Right? So right now, still a great time to be a seller. Buyer, it's tough, right? Because they're used to interest rates, they're low. But I will tell you, you're not gonna see, if you've ever pulled a 40-year interest rate chart, it's only hit 3%. Once, in one period in our lifetime. Right? So you're not gonna see rates go down. I doubt you're ever gonna see it. I can never say never, because I did get out of the rate prediction business a long time ago. But 3% was just an anomaly. Right? And part of that is we are living in an overstimulated real estate market because of those previous rates. All right. This is month over month. So if you compare last February to this February. Okay. Again, 12%, 17%, right? So that decline is beginning to come down. to think about that, because it was closer in the 20s or 30s, depending on what you're looking at in the last couple of months. I'm sorry, there is a rise in inventory compared to last year, but you'll see the recent inventory is starting to die down. And what I mean by that is, hold on, this is, so one of the things that we track of here every single Monday is we pull this, okay? And for the last 2 weeks, I believe, is it 2 weeks or 3 weeks? At least two, we'll see this in a second. See the number of new listings? See the number of due diligence period? What does that mean?
The attrition rate is higher, absorption rate is higher.
More houses are going under contract that are coming on the market. So what's gonna happen to the supply? Plus you have to factor in the expireds and the withdraws too, right? Those are houses that are coming off the market. That's gonna give our inventory beginning to come down. It's coming down.
Well, we have 31 coming soon.
Sorry?
We have 31 coming soon.
Yeah, there's 30, yeah, coming soon. Yeah, they'll eventually come in, but still. You still have it outpacing, right? So the decline in inventory, you can see, and this is week by week. When we pull this number, has what? Since December has gone from 2,800 down to 2,145. So again, as a seller, the numbers are looking better in your favor currently. Now, how long that trend continues, I do not know. I just can't tell you, right? We've got a lot of weird things happening. Got a little bit of bank failure going on right now, right? All right, not in the realm of what happened before, but you've got that little action going on too, which freaks some people out, right? Pardon me? I mean, you had to define failure, I guess. You're getting two banks bailed out. Essentially. The run is different because the runner, it's actually, the majority of it is businesses with money in that bank. Right? It's not individuals yanking money out. Now, don't get me wrong, individuals probably yanking money out, that's what caused them run. But once you hear a bank has to raise money, what they have to raise? A couple hundred million. It's a couple $100 million that they said we need to raise. People freaked out and just started pulling money from the bank. Right? Due diligence period, again, you see more, which typically you're gonna see, right, during this time of the year anyway. But the key number that you're looking at is, again, it's outpacing the number of houses coming on the market. So again, I don't know when that's gonna come, or when it's gonna even out or go the other way. But recently, for the last couple of weeks, there's been a gap. Total number of showings is down from last. Now, here's the question. Is that because there's nothing to see? Do you have buyers that you're working with that who haven't been able to find anything?
I mean, it could be even on a popular property, people aren't calling for highest and best for 5 days with all those showings. They're just saying, well, we're tired of showing it. We might need to jump on this good offer, and it's because we're not going to be getting 20 offers. You know, we'll have a market 2 days and then we'll get 5 offers and accept one of those instead of waiting and having 100 showings.
Yeah, I mean, I think before we got to where we're at now, which I think there are more multiple offer situations that we've heard of recently. When we talk to agents and the house is going over asking price, right, has begun again. Okay, due diligence fees are kind of on the rise still right now, not crazy like they were, but before that period, we just had people hovering around houses. In other words, you get a lot of people that look and said, I'm interested, I'm thinking about it, I'm interested, I'm thinking about it. There was a lot of that, right? I think that with, again, getting used to interest rates, still maybe learning that there's not that many houses on the market has caused people to jump off and make offers on houses. Right? Again, this information is out of showing time. You can pull this out of showing time for any price range. Okay. So you just look, and you can see. And once you get, what do you consider out of the hundreds? Once you get to 600, it goes to like 50s and 60s. Interested to see the new one on this. Okay, so you've seen the interest rates, they've got, again, what did I think the rate is today? Has anybody looked? Anyone know what the rate is today?
Then like the high sevens.
High sevens close to eights, right? Discussion is it's gonna be in the eights. Or hit 8. Okay. Again, inventory decline across the country, the same thing that's happening here is happening across the country. You're seeing that, right? Just don't have that many listings. Okay. These are people that have homes for rent. They're predicting a softening in the rental market right now. That's the last conversation, that rents are going to be staying the same or potentially coming down. Okay. And as you can see, American Homes for Rent, you see those guys are around here, right? You see American, you ever seen those signs? They're not acquiring anything else right now. That's it. Okay. I'm sorry. This one. One of the things that we took a look at in our area was this. Where is our supply going to come from? Right? And here's the issue that we're seeing. Right now, we are not seeing that in Guilford County. There's not a lot of big home developments in Guilford County at this point. There's some smaller ones, right? But I'm talking about big ones, all right? Okay? Because lately, if you looked at it, we've had some of the, I think, best economic news from a job standpoint in our area for a long time, right? The battery plant, different companies relocating here, different start, all different kind of things like that, all right? What we're seeing is what's happening is development is happening in the outlying counties. We're seeing it in Randolph, Davie, up towards Reedsville and Stokesdale. That's where a lot of the new building is right now. So it's gonna feel like and then now, of course, they finally finished the loop, which started in like 1988 or something. That was in high school. I think I was in high school, and I remember them talking about it, right? We're gonna have this loop that goes around the city. It finally got finished. Well, what you're gonna see again, if you look at other places like that, I want you to think about Charlotte, I want you to think about Raleigh, right? How far has it expanded out? I mean, you can almost be considered living in Charlotte if you live in South Carolina. If I live in Fort Mill, it's like I live in Charlotte, right? You go to Raleigh, right? They're out going east, especially right now. It's going down that I-40 corridor. It's getting out there, far away from the city. And the same thing that Aspect's prediction is happening here. Our supply is going to come from our outlying counties. Okay. All right. So 8-month supply, again, new home supply. That's not, what happens here does not necessarily mean what's happening across the United States. I don't know. I remember, I just came back from Austin, man. They got so much building on, it ain't funny. Downtown Austin, they're building so many high rises. I've never seen so many, I mean, being built at the same time. I'm going, oh my God, right? Because they just have an influx of people coming in there. They have a lot of supplies coming, right? So they're seeing builders pull back across the country right now, but not so much here. You haven't seen. It just depends. Is it good or it's bad? I don't know. It's going to keep prices high. Is that good or bad? Is it you're buying or if you own it, right?
It makes the competition tougher, I think.
All right. But I mean, just, we talk about this all the time. Remember, time in the market trumps timing the market. Right? And I go back to a couple examples. Think about if you bought a house before the pandemic started. People freaked out and you couldn't even get in houses to look at them. Right? Stock market tanks. If you bought a house back then, that house probably is worth double now. This is the biggest rise in prices that we saw in the last 3 years, period, in our area, period, right? Okay. You go back to 2009, right? You bought a house then, right? At some point, what? You stay there long enough, you're gonna be fine, right? I cannot predict if it's gonna continue to rise or if it's gonna go down, right? But the prediction rising, they went from 10% down to 5% up right now. That's the forecast. Any questions? Slide deck will be sent to you, you'll see it. It'll be sent out. I know Becky usually gets it out in some way, shape, fashion, or form. I'll hand it back over to Jeffrey.
Well, since we have some new people in the room, like really new realtors, what's the best piece of information they could need from